I've made a couple videos now telling you what I think you should be doing and thinking about. So I think it's only fair if I tell you what I'm doing and what I'm thinking about in this period of history, so that you can see that I put my money where my mouth is and that I practice what I preach. So I'm going to go over where I'm at right now, my bets for the future, why I care, and actually why I'm even doing it, and what I'm actually doing. Again, I'm just a normal guy who grew up in the north of England in a middle class household. I did everything I was told to do. I got a part-time job when I was young. I went to college, I studied hard, I went to uni, I got my degree, and literally on the side, I was just playing video games. And then with that degree, I got my job. I followed that path. And now I work a 9 to 5 office job that, if I'm being honest, I actually really enjoy. But here's the thing, I'm ambitious, and I want more out of life than the path that I was sold. And I think a lot of you who will watch this will feel the same way. And let me tell you, we are living in one of the most exciting times in human history right now. I genuinely believe that. While everyone else is online doom and gloom about AI taking jobs and the world ending, it's not me. And I see the opportunity. And if you don't see the opportunity around you right now, then let me help you. Because the best part is you don't need special skills anymore. You don't need qualifications. You don't need any of it. You don't need anything other than the willingness to just have a go and just fuck around. Fuck around and find out is just quite literally the strategy that works nowadays. Um, and the winners, I think, at the end of this will be the people who adapted and were curious. Again, you are the pilot. So, in this video, I'm going to take you through my life right now, what I want it to look like in the future, and what I'm doing in line with that. And I'm doing this not because I've got it all figured out, but quite the opposite. I don't. And I'm really just a normal guy trying to figure things out as I go along. The difference is I decided to take action. And if I can do it, then genuinely so can you. All right, kick things off. I'm going to tell you where I'm at right now. And honestly, I'm in a really good place. To give you a quick snapshot of my week, Monday to Friday, I'm at work, and when I finish, I either go to the gym, I'm spending my evenings with people, or playing video games, or working on something that I'm building on the side, which I'll get into in a bit. And then weekends roll around, and they are for the people that matter. So my girlfriend, my family, my mates, my social circle is small, but it's deliberate. I find a lot of value in that. And they're the kind of people that you could go months without speaking to and then pick up exactly where you left off. There's no drama or maintenance. It's just solid people. Um, so that's my week. And then every few months I'll go on holiday, either a solo travel to explore and experience things, or I'll go with my girlfriend or family to just relax and have a little adventure, just to break the routine and reset a little. It sounds simple when I say it out loud, and it is, frankly, but it took me a while to get here. I spent a lot of time in a job where my weeks were unpredictable and where I was kind of constantly reacting to things. But now I've got that flexibility and I'm happy with that. I have that structure and the time to do things that I favor more, to have sort of a life outside of work. Um, and I've made this decision deliberately. I chose this on purpose, and it's so that it doesn't just disappear. And this is what I'm building from. These are my sort of foundations, so to speak. And I just want to make a quick emphasis on sort of choosing life, but being aware of the future still. I'm not getting up and cold showering, then snorting creatine, and then just being as productive as possible. I'm not about that. I don't think you have to do that. I see it as a marathon, but work is deliberate and the leisure is meaningful. Okay, moving on. I'm going to tell you about my bets. So the things that I'm putting my time, money, and energy behind right now. Firstly, I'm betting I haven't missed the boat on YouTube, AI, on any of it. Everyone thinks they're late, but I thought I was late. But I genuinely believe that we're still in the early innings of something massive, and the people who start now will look back and be glad that they did. Secondly, I'm betting that AI is going to create the biggest boom the stock market has ever seen. Bigger than the internet, bigger than mobile. We can sit here and debate whether or not there's a bubble, and even if there is a bubble and it pops, I genuinely see that in a decade's time, it's going to be higher than it has ever been. And we're young, we can live through that longevity, and I just want to make sure that I'm invested before that becomes obvious to everyone else. Third, and probably the one that nobody really wants to hear, I'm betting it's also going to wipe out a lot of jobs. And it's not because I'm being pessimistic or anything, it's what I see as the reality in the situation. It's not the first time a new technology has come in and shaken things up and people have lost jobs to it. It happened when the tractor was invented, or the loom. history doesn't repeat, that it rhymes. And I think that the people who survive and prosper in this area, they aren't going to be the people who are the most qualified or the most experienced. They're going to be the ones who adapted to it, and the ones who leaned in and learnt about it rather than turning away. Which brings me nicely onto my fourth bet. I'm betting it's not as hard as it seems. And I say that as someone with zero software qualifications, zero business qualifications, nothing like that. Just a sort of can-do attitude, really. But for example, a few months ago, I had an idea for an app, and I used AI to help me build a business plan. I just followed the plan. It had actual actionable steps, and then I used a site called Lovable to turn it into a sort of working prototype. And now I'm showing this prototype to people who are hopefully going to pay for it. So I'm at the stage now where I'm seeking feedback. I'll talk about this in a second, but just the fact that I've been able to do that with AI tools, that like me, just a guy from the north of England who spends his evenings playing fucking video games, it's just crazy. And so for my last bet, and honestly probably the most important one, I'm betting on myself that I can do this. And I think if you're watching this, then somewhere in the back of your mind, you're thinking probably the same, and you're betting on yourself too. And at the time of making this video, I have 0 subscribers, 2 views on my videos, which I'm pretty sure are me. But I'm smoking pure hopium right now, but it's fun and I'm doing it, and that's more than a lot of people can say. Okay, moving on. Why am I actually doing this? What is the actual goal? I'll probably surprise you here because my rich life, I'd say, isn't what most people would expect. Everyone wants to be rich, and I'm no different. The more the merrier, obviously. But I'd say my bar for what a rich life is actually pretty low, and I think that's a superpower in itself for me. What I want, really, a nice house. Not some new build squeezed next to a motorway, but an actual nice house with a garden, a proper garden, where I can have just barbecues. Have my family and friends over, and just enjoy the time with the people that I love. That is definitely my rich life. It's the image I always come back to, and everything is in line with that. The bits on the side, obviously, I want low financial stress, like everyone else. Not 0 bills, not infinite money. I find that unrealistic, but just living slightly below my means so that the money never becomes that thing that keeps me up at night. I want a dividend portfolio that eventually covers my monthly expenses. That's bills, food shopping, the basics. They're paid for by my investments while I sleep. I mean, what a dream. Everything else after that is just mine to do whatever with. I want more time to travel, more time with the people closest to me. I don't even mind having a full-time job. I love my work. I really like my area and my team, and I would miss it. I just want that flexibility and good amounts of leave so that life doesn't feel like it's happening around my job, which a lot of people get stuck in. So it's important for whatever role I'm looking at or what I'm thinking of doing next, those are key in that area. I want enough financial comfort to outsource the stuff that I don't want to do. So this is a bit of a cheeky one, but manual labor tasks, things like car washes, cleaning, the small things that kind of eat your time and energy. And I'm not saying that I'm lazy. I just feel like if you can pay for that, you're buying back your time, and I think you'll have so much more time to do the other things that you love and the other things that you want to pursue. And day to day, I just want to be living with my partner, staying busy, having things to look forward to, and that could literally just be a barbecue on a Saturday, people coming over. Simple stuff, and I'm content with that. And really, that's it. That's the whole vision right now. And obviously, it's subject to change. Everyone changes their mind, and I'm no different. But every decision I'm making right now is pointed at that. So, what am I actually doing about it? What am I actually physically doing to achieve that life and that vision? I'll start with money, because I think this is where probably most people in their 20s either don't start at all, overcomplicate it, or they rush it, just trying to get rich quick. That's the vibe I get from speaking to people my age as well, and what they've done with their money. Personally, I have what I call my 6 money pillars, and I'll be totally transparent about them. So the first pillar, it's an emergency fund. This is my non-negotiable. I've got a couple £1,000 sitting in a money box ISA, not really doing anything. It gains a little bit of interest, but nothing crazy compared to an investment or a stock. But that's fine. I don't want it to be crazy. I just want it to be stable. It's a safety net. I feel lighter because of it, knowing that it's there and that it can be used in any kind of case of emergency. Secondly, I've got a personal investment account. Now, I use eToro, and it's split sort of 50-50 right now between just individual stocks and cryptos. I know what you're thinking. Obviously, crypto is high risk, but again, I refer back. I am young. I can stomach that volatility, and it's just somewhere where I can invest in those specific things that I want to be a part of and that I see succeeding. And even if like I don't see it fully succeeding, it's something that I can't risk not being in, you know? I'm not day trading it. I'm just buying and holding the things that I want to be a part of. It's a bit of fun and it scratches an itch for me, which I think is good. Now, my third pillar, it's an accumulation account. It's my slow burner. I have a Vanguard Life Strategy account. It's 80% stocks, 20% bonds. And it's probably got about I think around 7 grand in it right now. Last time I checked. Um, it's my slow and steady. You know, it's my long-term compounder. The goal of this one is to grow it out as much as possible, and then to eventually move the money slowly from that into a dividend portfolio, which brings me on to my fourth pillar. It's my dividend stocks, and this is probably the one I'm most excited about because it's so in line with my rich life. It's Vanguard. It's a dividend portfolio. It's in the FTSE High Dividend Yield Fund. It's only got about 1 grand in there right now because it's new, but I'm putting bits of that away. Not as much into my life strategy, but enough so that I'm not starting from scratch when I come to fully move money over from it. Um, that's the pot. It's just all long game, and this is the pot, and it's the one that will pay my bills hopefully one day. And my fifth pillar, it's a thing saver. It's saving for a thing. You know, I've got another ISA just towards saving for specific events. Right now, it's buying a house, so I'm saving up for a house. But in the future, it could be a wedding, special trip. You know, the things that need to be planned financially and saved up for in the background. It's a quick one. And lastly, it's just my current account. You know, I use an Amex Gold card to pay off bills on that, and I pay that off every month. And that's just for building credit. You know, collecting points is so that when I'm spending money, I'm at least getting some money back for it. And that's it. Those are my pillars. I was I was fortunate enough to be interested in money from a young age. You know, I was probably around 18 to 20 when I started reading about it and learning about it. Um, I messed it all up several times between then and now, but the foundations remain and the interest remained, which was just so beneficial for me. And it's how I've got decent amounts in place already in these areas. And now I've got my financial pillars, which serve me well. And I hope that you have something in place yourself, or at least can take inspiration from this. It's I hope it's not too complicated. It doesn't feel like it because to me it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be correct and done well over a long period of time. Now, AI. So this is where it gets exciting for me. Obviously, I'm happy with my contributions and my money pillars, but the race here for me, it's having that all in place as early as possible. And it's not about saving more, it's about making more. You know, I don't want to be 60 and say, yay, I have all this money, and quite frankly, I don't have the body I once had and I can't properly use it. You know, so I'm trying new things in the hope of making a sort of side income on the side of my full-time employment. So what am I doing? I'm building an app. It's for personal trainers simply to manage their clients, which is already being done, obviously. But all the ones I've tried, they're just bloated, and that's my theory, is that there'll be someone out there, there'll be people out there like me who just want the workout. They don't care about clocking their water intake or their steps, or you know, planning their food on there. If I feel that way, then I'm sure there'll be other people who would pay for that. So that's the theory, and that's the app I'm making. And before you ask, no, I can't code. I have zero software background whatsoever. I'm just really just messing around and seeing what works and what doesn't. So as I mentioned, I use a site called Lovable to build a design, and all I did for that was use ChatGPT to sort of generate prompts. They call it vibe coding, which I'm learning, and it's built me a working demo of the app. I'm not exaggerating when I say I genuinely did not write a single line of code. I just spoke to ChatGPT. I copy and pasted its prompt from what I wanted into Lovable, and then Lovable produced it. Uh, in terms of where we're at right now, I'm at the stage of getting feedback from actual PTs, and then I'm going to be implementing those changes into the demo. And then once I'm happy with it, I'm going to reach out to more PTs and see who would actually pay for it. And then after that, I'll use more AI tools to actually turn it into a fully functional product. And I'm excited to try it out. And even if it fails, you know, I'm learning this, and it's more than most people can say for themselves. Is it finished? No. You know, do I know exactly how it's going to turn out? Obviously not. But it exists, and it's real. And 6 months ago, it didn't. I wouldn't have believed that it was possible without, God, years of software experience. And I'm genuinely just some guy who found the app and thought, fuck it, I'll give it a go, and just used ChatGPT. Um, and I haven't spent any money on it. It's genuinely all been free up to this point. You can pay, obviously, for the AI software boost. You know, Lovable has their packages and ChatGPT has their packages, but I've not used any. I think most people genuinely don't know how far this actually has come and didn't know this is possible. You know, you sort of know that it can create websites, but did you know that it can do this? I mean, personally, I didn't until recently. Um, so yeah, I think the people who sort of figure this out now, while it's still early, they're going to look back at this moment like the people who bought Bitcoin in 2015. You know, I mean, I was 15 in 2015, so I'll cut myself some slack. It's like, oh, why didn't I invest in property in 2008? Ugh, well, I was 8 years old, sick. Um, yeah, but that's the bet I'm making. You know, the mindset shift is I'm just trying to cultivate. It's simple. Just stay open to possibilities and ideas. You know, have that adventurous outlook on life. You know, don't wait until you fully understand something before you engage in it. Just learn as you go. The best way to learn, I've found, is just to do it. You know, fuck around and find out. It's not reckless. It's just how people actually build things nowadays. So that's it. That's where I'm at, and those are my bets and what I'm doing. There's nothing exceptional about this story. I'm sorry, if that's what you've come for, but I'm not here to flex. I'm not here to tell you I've made it because I haven't. You know, not yet at least. I'm just a guy from the north of England with a 9 to 5, a gym routine, and a half-baked fucking app on his computer. There's nothing special going on here. I'm just trying things out. Um, but here's what I've come to understand. You know, everything is risky. Doing nothing is risky. Staying comfortable is risky. You know, waiting until you're ready is probably the most risky. Um, you don't get to opt out of risk. You just get to choose which risks you're willing to take. So this is me picking my poison, and that's it. And yeah, if any of this just resonates with you, then if you're sitting there thinking you're too late, or it's too complicated, or that you're not qualified enough, I just want you to know that I thought all those things too. Um, the only difference, I started.